Hello, and welcome to another episode of Untraditionally Traditional, a podcast with me, Brittany Duncan, a Millennial Homemaker. Join me each week as I share all the things I've learned that make keeping your home, garden, and life running smoothly, all while working. If you are enjoying the podcast, please be sure to subscribe in your favorite podcasting app so you get the episodes downloaded straight to you every Monday. Now, on to today's episode. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Untraditionally Traditional, a Millennial Homemaker. This is your host, Brittany Duncan, and today I want to get down and honest, maybe a little blunt. Nothing new if you are a regular listener, but homemaking inspiration. Let's talk about it. It's tough. On one side, as a homemaker, I love hearing from other homemakers about how they do things. I love following accounts where everything seems to be running on a system that works. And boy, oh boy, do I love a curated, beautiful home and that kind of like home styling content. The problem with this inspiration is that for one, it's endless, and that for two, it can set the bar really dang high. It's something I try to be careful of when I myself am creating content. I don't want to set unrealistic expectations or have you, the listener, feel less than if you're not doing things the way I'm suggesting. Clean living can be the same, right? The groceries you buy, the food you make, the products you use in your house, the products you use on your body, in your body. Often it feels like we're being shouted out in the homemaking, clean living circles. Use this, don't use that, buy your food here, don't get it there, seed oils are the devil, and everything's going to give you cancer. And I'm not saying that these things are wrong or untrue. They're probably true. I've talked many times here on the podcast, and I've perpetuated that echo chamber. But I also want to say this. Let's all calm the heck down, okay? If you're a homemaker, if you're homemaking at 100%, eventually you'll burn out or something will give, and I'm living proof of it. I like to think that I operate at a high homemaking capacity. I work full-time, I own a side business, I'm married, have pets, exercise regularly, blah, 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 right? I was killing it on the homemaking front until I wasn't. Let's not forget why we homemake. It's to give the people around us a loving home to live in. If you're giving 100% to clean floors and home-cooked meals, what do you have left when your husband needs some more of your time and energy? What about your kids? Are you saving some reserves for them? Are we so focused on meeting the goal that we're forgetting the reason why we wanted to do it in the first place? Lately, I've chilled out with my homemaking quite a bit, and guess what? Nobody died. In fact, I'm sad to admit it, but nothing really changed except that I got happier and my marriage feels easier. It doesn't mean that the effort I put into cleaning and cooking, primping and putzing and all those things didn't mean anything. It just means that it isn't the end-all, be-all to my life or my marriage. Your husband likely didn't marry you because you're a good homemaker. He married you because he loves you and who you are and the memories you make together. Your kids don't love you because you cut the crust off their sandwiches or make sure they always have clean clothes to wear. They love you because you're their mom, and when they've had a bad day, your hug is the one that makes it all better for a minute. Pouring into the home is important, but there are other areas to pour into that are more important. And if you're like me, time needs to be dedicated to them or they get pushed to the wayside so that the floors can get mopped. First, self. Let's talk about like self-care, okay? It's an overused buzzword, doesn't make it less important. The saying that you can't pour from an empty cup is true, except sometimes as a spouse or parent, you do. You dig deep into the corners of yourself like you're digging for change in the sofa cushions like a child trying to scrape together $1 or $2. And sometimes you get lucky. But often what you do is you end up giving the very last bit of energy reserves out, and then you are truly depleted. And this is a dangerous territory, and I'm not exaggerating. When you bottom out of energy, love, attention to give, it is a hard climb back out of that hole. You can easily turn into a homemaker robot. Clean the floors, get the groceries, make dinner, put away the dishes, kiss husband goodnight, go to bed, wake up, make breakfast, do it all again. Right? Y'all, I'm sure have been there. We all have. Yes, you're doing all the things. Check, checking off that list. But at what cost? I'd say that regaining energy and excitement in life is twice as hard as giving it out. So be careful how much you give and who and what you give it to. Think of yourself as a fuel tank, and instead of rolling into the gas station on empty, start thinking about refueling that tank when it's at a quarter full. Johnson, if you're listening, you're probably rolling your eyes because very often my car literally is on empty. And so I will also be using that metaphor literally and trying to keep my gas tank more full. But talking about the emotional fuel tank, let's not let it get into that danger zone. Don't let that fuel light come on. Second, spouse. I don't have children, so grain of salt with this one, but I've been a child in 2 different families, so I've got some experience in what different parenting styles can look like. Pour into your spouse before you pour into your kids. Remember the fuel tank. If your spouse brings you a cup of coffee and you connect for 10 minutes in the morning before getting the kids ready for school, your cup might go from 1/4 to 1/2, allowing yourself to pour more into your kids. As Johnson and I plan to start a family and we observe different marriages and parent types, it's impossible not to pick up on little subtleties here and here that, honestly aren't that subtle. What I see time and time again is that families who put their marriage first have more to pour into their children and are happier and more united as a whole. The thing about your energy reserves is that often it's the little things that make a world of difference in filling your cup. A well-placed 5 minutes with your spouse, cutting up together and laughing is huge. 10 minutes in the sunshine and fresh air instead of scrolling Instagram, huge. It's not always big segments of time that give us the most energy. Okay, third, kids. Again, grain of salt, don't have kids. But pouring into your kids is like pouring into your spouse in a lot of ways. As a homemaker, we can often think, I poured into my spouse because I went grocery shopping, I made dinner, and I vacuumed, when in fact your spouse might need something that isn't an act of service. Maybe they need quality time, physical touch, words of affirmation. Children are the same way. Just because you cleaned their room and made their lunch doesn't necessarily mean that they got what they need. Maybe your kid needs your undivided attention and just wants to be listened to. Or maybe they just want to be held and snuggled with on the sofa. Maybe they need to hear how proud you are of them. My point in all this is to say that the things we shouldn't calm down about are caring for ourselves, our spouse, and our loved ones. The things that we can push to the side and say, who gives a crap whether you skipped vacuuming today, okay? Whether you order pizza and have a game night with your family to fill someone's cup via quality time. Whether instead of meal planning and making a grocery list, you took a 30-minute bath to watch your favorite show on Netflix. Pay attention to your fuel tank, and above all else, let that be the guide to your to-do list. Remember that no one is going to remember you for your clean floors and spotless mirrors, but they will remember how you made them feel. I really want us to go into this new year, 2025, and think about what is important. If you are struggling with your New Year's affirmations or what you want 2025 to look like, for me, it's pouring into myself, my spouse, my family, my friends, my relationship with God, of course. I really want that to be my guiding light for my to-do list. I'm not saying that I'm not going to clean my house and, make homemade meals anymore. That's not what I'm saying. But I am saying that might take second place to what Johnson needs or what I need for the day, and that I'm going to be okay and I'm not going to feel guilty about that. If I order pizza out, okay, yeah, I know that it's probably made with some kind of ingredient that maybe if I were making it from scratch, I wouldn't include. Who gives a shit? Okay, let's be real here. I really want us to calm down on the things that don't matter and focus on the things that do. So that is my little 2 cents. I hope that this is helpful. If you are listening, at this time, I'm recording and releasing this on Christmas Eve, so you're probably hopefully with family filling your cups. But whenever you listen and start thinking about 2025, I hope that this provides a little bit of inspiration to pour into the things that truly matter to you. All right, talk to y'all in the new year. Thank you for listening to this episode of Untraditionally Traditional. If you enjoyed the podcast, please share it with those special people who would love it too, and write a review. For more tips and photos of my home and garden, follow Untraditionally Traditional Pod on Instagram. Until next week, let's continue to make our homes places of joy and service to ourselves and those we share them with.